Hey, welcome back to the site. My name's Trent, and today we're going to tie the Max Canyon. The Max Canyon is a steelhead fly. It was developed in around the 1970s, early 70s, on the Deschutes River. It's a great tie. It's a pretty colorful fly as well, and from what I've seen, it's good to be fished in size 8 up to a size 2. So sit back, enjoy yourself. Let's get into the tie. All right, so let's go ahead and put the hook in the vise. Again, this is just I want to say this is about a size 6 steelhead hook. So go ahead and start that up. Put the thread on, and I'm just going to it's going to have a body of chenille, so I'm just going to take my thread back, and I'm going to tie this, and I'm going to use the same material for the tail and the wing, so which is going to be kiptail, white and orange kiptail. So first thing I'm going to do is I just clipped off a little bit of kiptail, and I want the tail, I don't want to go full body length, but maybe half the shank. And I just give that a couple wraps, get that in, and then just a little bit of white. And I want to warn you, when tying these, you don't need to overdress. If you clip off like this, but I need to take about half that total material that I clip. You tend to want to overdress these flies, and there's no reason to. So it's something that I caution tyers on all the time about when they're tying, not to overdress. You don't need so much bulky material. There, I'm just binding down that kip tail or calf tail just to help keep it in line. So next thing we're going to do is the rib, and I'm just using a medium silver tinsel, oval tinsel. So and bind that down real well underneath, like so. Now this back half of this body is going to be in orange, and I'm using a fine orange chenille is what I'm using. So I want it to go to about right there. I'm just going to put that in just to help me keep track of where I want to stop. So pull some off the card, run it up. I'm not going to clip it off the card because I don't want to have a whole bunch of waste. So I'm going to tie this in underneath. I like to tie in underneath, so I'm just going to hold that material down, get that bound down really nice and tight. The important thing before you start wrapping this, make sure you've got your thread wrap going all the way back to where your tail starts, or you can end up with a weird spot between the tail and the body where you don't have any material. So I'm just going to come up and over, and this is just going to be touching wraps side by side, moving up halfway up the body. You notice I'm going over the top, away from me on this. That'll become important here in just a second when I do the rib. So that's the body of it. We can clip that off. Or that's at least half the body, right? Clip that off. And now I'm going to use just some black chenille. And I got a hank of it that I have abused, and now I don't necessarily know where the beginning and ends are of it, so I just kind of clip it as I need. Pull that over, tie in this small black chenille. I'm going to move this all the way up to where I'm going to tie the wing and the throat in. So, see that? I didn't have it bound down nice and tight all the way. Let me move forward with it. Okay. There we go. Nice body. As we come forward, hold that underneath and tie it off. Just go ahead and clip off the excess. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to rivet, and I'm going to counter rivet in the opposite direction of how I put the chenille on. And that'll be right there. Come up over, capture it. There's my 5 ribs. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on a throat of black. So I'm just using some black strung hackle. You know, when you're tying these flies, there's no reason to spend a bunch of money on really good, great, you know, feather quality stuff. Not that these aren't good, but there's no reason to spend a bunch of money on these things. So, as always, you just want to measure your throat against the hook, and that's, to me, that's a little too long. So let me pull off some of those fibers. It still looks a little long, but I'm running out of feather too. So what I'll do is start on this. Start on the tip end. That will help put down a shorter throat to begin with anyway. So I'm here. I'm just gonna kind of wrap. Just make sure you're not twisting the feather. You do this, you want side by side touching wraps going around. So let me tie off what I have. I'm not a big when I tie, I don't like a really large throat on my flies. So now what I'm doing, wet my fingers And I'm just gonna move these feathers down and away. So just a little bit of moisture in your fingers. You just take it, kind of pinch and hold it, and then what I like to do to help secure it is I'll just make a couple wraps kind of back over the hackle, like so. How's that look? And then I can just clip a little bit of this that's on the top, just to make sure it doesn't get in the way of my wing. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is tie on the wing. So I'm going to do the wing just like I did the back tail. I'm going to start with my orange kip tail to start off with. And just like I was saying with the tail, you know, you don't want to overdress it. You don't want too much there. So, but I want this to go back. Yeah, maybe not quite all the way to the end of the tail, but I like my tail or my wing to end right about there. So, kind of get a measurement what I'm looking for, and then just clip that off. So from here, just come up over the top, capture that. Just a couple nice wraps. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to finish it off, because I got to put a white wing on top of that. So I'm going to clip this. You can see I've used a lot of the longer fibers already. So let me see if I can find some useful ones on this one. So one thing I like to do when I use kip tail is I kind of twist it together. It helps kind of hold everything a little tighter for me. And I want this just to lay right down on top of the other one. Just like so. Oh, need to clip even a little more off. Just like so. There we go. Then we'll take this and just make some securing wraps, and then we'll put in some nice wraps for a head. Oh, we got some ugliness on this side, don't we? There we go. Whip finish off, and then some head cement, and we will be done. So 1, 2, 3 turns, down and away. A little bit of Sally Jansen's, and these steelhead flies or salmon flies, when you tie them, they just look amazing. You get put the head cement on there and you get that nice black lacquered looking head. They look amazing. So there is the Max Canyon. Hope you enjoyed the tie-in. If you did, hit that like or subscribe, whatever it's called, and join me for future ties. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you around the vise.